It's been a minute since I posted some stuff, but had a competition with U.S. Nationals that went pretty well. Took second in my weight class, fourth overall for open weight, whatever. So just going to go back into some of the different implements, vintage weights, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not a weight collector. I just have a lot of stuff that I train with. So I'm not like an expert on the history of certain things or whatever, but I am just going to show you guys, the stuff that I do know, the stuff that I am experienced with, and continue to maybe give a better look at things that aren't as common as a lot of the other equipment you see out there. So today's video is going to be based around this Thomas Inch Dumbbell Replica, and this is from Slater Strength. So Steve Slater, a lot of you guys might know him from like the Slater Logs or Slater Stones, but Steve has been involved with strength and strongman for who knows how long. But a lot of the stuff that's made for, just a lot of the world's strongest man competitions or just equipment, Steve is always helping out with that stuff. He's one of the nicest people ever. Just a really good guy that cares about strength, that cares about the athletes, and cares about his work and everything that he does. So this is from the older mold. So since this bell has been purchased, Steve has different varieties and stuff for inch replicas on sale. You can get them, painted, unpainted. Some have the lettering on it that says Thomas Inch Replica. This doesn't have any lettering on it. This was just a plain, regular old cast dumbbell from the foundry. And so I'll just kind of get into it. So a lot of times I'll always reference that I first found out about grip sport from watching Jed Johnson and Adam Glass videos. Jed had a link up a long time ago. It's probably still up there somewhere, but when you're watching something on YouTube, you don't always know how current it is or how up to date it is. So before I really knew anybody or knew what was going on in the sport, I started to find out about these challenges and things from videos online. I saw Jed posting about, if you wanted an inch dumbbell, and now it seems silly to even think about it because there's like Stanowitz strength equipment, there's other people like ordering bells from Nathan Hall to the States. That like became a thing just a couple years ago. Not saying that people didn't do it before, but it really wasn't as accessible and it really hadn't taken off the same way it has now. So now it probably seems silly that like, oh, you couldn't just track down an inch dumbbell, but I think I got this back in 2020. But maybe I found out about some of the stuff online like 2019, and then in 2020, finally, towards the end of the year, decided to purchase one of these. But yeah, so when I was watching this stuff online, I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, I'm going to try to email this guy, Jed, and, I'm going to email him and see, I'm expecting like, he's probably not even going to reply. This video is probably 2-3 years old. It doesn't matter. Like, we don't make those anymore. Oh, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm just anticipating the worst when it comes to some of that stuff because it's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? And Jed emailed me back and worked it out, and boom, ended up ordering my first inch dumbbell like that, and I almost couldn't believe it. I'm like, man, really? Like, went better than I thought. So, I don't know why I wasn't very optimistic in the beginning. I guess I was just expecting not to get my hopes up, like, man, I really want this thing. But if I, from a random video and sending an email to someone I don't even know, like, what are the chances I'm gonna have a dumbbell pop up at my house after, doing all this stuff? So I know the process was super easy, whether it be through Slater Strength website or I don't know if Jed is still working with Steve. That's something that you could reach out and ask him. But yeah, those two people are where I got a lot of my, the ability to buy the inch dumbbell, but then also like knowledge on the inch dumbbell through Jed's stuff. So that was really the beginning for me. When this thing first got dropped off out of the semi, out in the gravel back behind the car shop, I couldn't budge it. I couldn't do anything. And now, yeah, you're not warmed up. It's not chalked. It wouldn't have mattered. I wasn't breaking this thing off the ground. And even when I got it home and chalked it up, wasn't really moving, wasn't really doing much. I did spend a lot of my early times just trying to tilt lift it, do anything I could, keep improving technique, work, with the other stuff I had to try to mimic lifting this thing. So it was definitely a big challenge. It wasn't like um, it wasn't. It was just a big mountain for me to climb. It's not like it was dropped off and it was like, oh well, you already have an excellent grip and you can just walk right up to it and pick it up like it's nothing. And we see people online do that nowadays, or whether it's hand dimensions or they weigh 350 pounds, or maybe they're just blasting steroids and sometimes they don't want to admit it, but you know what I mean. I won't trail off too much, but yeah, there's a lot of reasons why people can just pick the thing up, right away. Sometimes they're just damn strong. You know what I mean? They just are that strong, and it's just a genetic thing, or their work for decades leading up to that, whatever it is. But yeah, generally out the gate, when I see people pick it up, I usually think really large hand, just a really giant person, or if they don't really have the biggest, like giant hand, giant body weight, they probably are using steroids or they have used it in the past. And I know some people are gonna be like, oh, I lifted it and I did, and I blah, 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 blah. And I'm not debating with people. Like, I've got like 16 of these dumbbells around. I've watched thousands and thousands of people pick it up. I know what I'm talking about. I don't need somebody's like individual story for them to try to seek validation that they did something that most don't. Whatever. Like, I just get tired of online culture, social media culture these days. Most people are just full of shit, make stuff up, and you can't change it, So back to the dumbbell. It always is a little bit entertaining though when you add a little bit of side stuff in there, But yeah, so really started trying to do tilt lifts on this thing and build up to a level lift. It probably took me about a year and a half of training it. And when I say training it, that's not dedicated training to only this item. I had numerous competitions. I was sparring, grappling 3-4 times a week. There's so many other things going on. So it's not like I was dedicating my life to lift this. But I did spend a lot of time training it and working on it when I did train for it. So right hand for me, which is stronger on bells, it probably took me about a year and a half before I was like consistently pulling off good level lifts with it. And then right before the 2-year mark of owning it is when I did my first left-handed lift level with the bell. So it was definitely not one of those things that just, popped up in front of me and I just, don't even know what it is. I probably even put it up on a bigger pedestal than I thought because, it was demoralizing when I first tried it, which may look crazy if you see some of the stuff I do now or when I add some of these feats in here, stuff that I never dreamed I'd be doing. I didn't think it would even be possible. And you just have to stick with it. You just have to think outside the box and also just seek out the best information when it comes to training and lifting something like this or training with what you have to make this work. And there's a lot of just, misguided information, people that are just giving shitty advice online and, but yeah, if you can get to some real grip strength sources or get to real things, and the real lifters, real people that know and can actually coach it or do it right, it is a big help. But you can generally kind of decipher who's who and who's doing what. But yeah, no, it's a very classic feat of strength. I'm not going to go into the history of the dumbbell as far as Thomas Inch goes, but just more so this individual one that I got. But yeah, so I did get level lifts before the 2-year mark with both hands. My right was definitely about 6 months ahead and really took off fast the more time I started putting into this bell. But yeah, this is my first inch dumbbell. And I've had this coming up on close to 6 years now. So I don't know how many times I've lifted it, but man, thinking back to all the sessions from just rep outs, rows, just different feats I did for combinations, it has to be well over 1,000, I would say. And it's tough to really start breaking down, years worth of lifting and reps. I haven't counted every rep or every time I ever touched it or every time I've ever lifted one, but this bell alone, probably well over 1,000 reps, I'd say easy. So yeah, this is like my workhorse bell. Is the first one I got. Probably never sell it for that reason. It's the first thing first replica I had, the big one that, kind of started everything else and got me to where I'm at with the other bells or bigger stuff and whatever. So yeah, just wanted to give some close-ups at the bell, post some different feats and just take a couple quick things. I did do a video long ago where I filmed me lifting this in first person, and it got a ton of views and a lot of people, 100 comments in there saying it's fake, it's rubber. I did do a video a couple years after that to kind of like, I don't say debunk it, but just prove that the bell was legitimate and that it's not rubber, it's not fake, it's it's a real inch replica. So I do have that video up where I'm kind of doing the same stuff. I'm weighing it, I'm checking the handle diameter and all that stuff. So I'm going to do some of that again here just for this one because it is a different video. But yeah, feel free to go check out the, is my inch dumbbell fake or whatever that old video was. I'll bring up the icon for it. But yeah, that's a good funny video. I include some comments in there of people saying the bell's fake and whatever. And then I kind of just debunk each one as I go along. Like, why don't you weigh it? And then I just weigh it on the scale. And, so that's a pretty funny one. So I'm not going to go as in depth with this one, but just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about, how I found out about it, how I've had it for close to 6 years, and just kind of show what it looks like. Maybe this is the first time somebody watching is seeing an inch dumbbell, or, maybe they haven't had a close-up look at one, but they have circus dumbbells at their gym. So I just like giving people a close-up to look at the actual bell. And you see so many videos of other people training with certain things. I don't know if you're like me. I watch so many different highlights and videos of people and analyze stuff that there's just certain dumbbells individually, not the fact that it's the inch, but I'll bring up Jed again because Jed has a Sorinex bell with like raised lettering on it. That's one of his first inch dumbbells that he had. And I just loved getting up to his gym and getting a chance to lift it because I had seen that particular dumbbell in so many videos that by the time I got in front of it, I was like, man, I've been watching this dumbbell on my TV for 2 years, and now to actually see it. So it was kind of cool. So not that this really has anything that stands out like that raised lettering or anything that's that unique, but if you've seen me do any of my feats or you've watched the channel or whatever, this dumbbell, if it's an inch dumbbell replica, like I said, this is my workhorse. This is probably what I've pulled off 80 to 90% of my inch dumbbell feats with. Now, obviously, I've traveled to other gyms, other people's places, and have gotten a chance to lift on, I don't even know how many different dumbbells, but a ton. But this is the one that's, like I said, that workhorse is just consistent and definitely my go-to before I start warming up into heavier bells. So, yeah, I'll just go ahead and we'll get with the caliper here. And I don't have to necessarily. We'll see if this pops up on the screen, but it's zeroed out. Not that you have to doubt me. Like I said, if you don't, well, then just comment that the dumbbell's fake below and you caught me. But so that's millimeters. We'll go 4 inches here. And I'm going to kind of jam it as tight as I can on there. And yeah, that's right at basically 2 3/8. So from there, it's 2.373 or 2.375 would be 2 3/8. I might have kind of jammed it back in a little bit hard, so maybe that's why it's 0.002 under. But yeah, it's pretty much dead on where it should be. Maybe I'll do another one where I zero it out and I don't jam it on there as bad. But I didn't want to inflate it and make it seem like it was thicker. But yeah, so if I kind of just leave it there. Yeah, and that's 2.376. So it is literally like the perfect inch replica. And that's one of the things I was so happy with when I got this was that, it wasn't 180 pounds. It wasn't 169 pounds. It is like dead on weight. We're going to double check that again with another scale I have here. But anytime I've ever weighed this bell, it has been right at like 172 pounds or just under 173 on any scale. It's just right there. So like if you're looking for that 78 kilo, 172 pound bell, the first one I got was like everything it was, promised or everything I had read or looked at. So that was awesome because, some people get a bell and it's 7 or 8 pounds over and they're like, well, man, I think I could lift the actual one, but the replica I have is super heavy or the handle's weird or thick or whatever. So for the handle to be so true to size and the weight being dead on, man, it made this a lot of fun. And it helped me get to that exact benchmark, but then also have the confidence to go above and beyond. So with that, we know that the handle's dead on. Just for fun, we'll go ahead and we'll weigh it here. So we have zeros. I hope if I start pulling on this cord, it might change a little bit, but the scale. All right, apologies for the edit. Usually I don't do many edits, but in this case, I think the international deep dish I had, it wasn't sitting on the scale right because it's a little bit bigger than the scale and the hub was just contacting it, so it was wobbling and acting funky. So had to regroup, cut some stuff, hoping I didn't break it, but it's all good. So this is the highest I've ever seen the bell read, but with this pancake on there, I know it's good. But 173.42, hopefully that'll come in clear. Hopefully me pulling on the cable isn't changing it too much, but yeah, just over 173 pounds. Usually it's between 172 and 173, so I don't think something's off, or when I mess with that plate, I don't think I've messed up the scale, but this is just about a half pound heavier than I would say it normally weighs, but not that big of a deal. But yeah, just wanted to kind of show the weight, show some close-ups, show some cool feats, cool lifts with it. But yeah, that is how I got my first inch dumbbell, roughly how long it took me to get to a certain point with it. As I get into heavier dumbbells or, you know, different feats or other stuff, I'll always kind of maybe add in timelines or highlights with that stuff. But yeah, handle, the weight, it's like the perfect first inch dumbbell in my opinion. So I couldn't be happier with this from, you know, Slater Strength. And the newer mold with the newer bells that Steve has are awesome. I actually got one off of him probably a year or so ago. I got a new one because I wanted ones with the lettering on it and kind of had him like polish it up. And then I put like a clear coat over it. So it's kind of more, it's flashier, looks a little cooler, but you can't beat the old plain, just thick handle and two globes. Just, it is what it is. You know, nothing flashy, nothing fancy, just covered in chalk, rusted up. But yeah, it's my first inch dumbbell I got, and hopefully you guys enjoy some of the lifts. Some of me talking is probably just ranting and going on, but hopefully the lifts can break that up. And then I did mess up and throw my scale off a little bit by using a deep dish plate that, I don't know, I should have known better than that. But but yeah, at least I didn't break the scale. It's still pretty accurate because I kind of dropped some stuff and it was sliding and, I don't know, making some weird sounds like it was crunching. But I think it was just the angle of the plate kind of dragging on it. But yeah, so if anybody has any questions about the Thomas Inch dumbbell, where to get Thomas Inch replicas, training in relation to the Thomas Inch dumbbell, or just training with thick handle dumbbells in general, feel free to message me on Instagram. Feel free to message me at the Grip Show. Comment below here at the channel right now and ask. I'm very easy to talk to, very easy to get along with or relay information back and forth, and usually try to help anybody out that I can. So if I have time, I will help you out. So yeah, it's really it. So I thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos. So whether it be on Grip Show, whether it's my personal channel, there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out. And yeah, hopefully everybody will enjoy some of the stuff that's to come. But yeah, and also any recommendations, any suggestions, comment below as well, because I do listen to everything that people write or say to me. I'll listen to it, and even if I don't get to it right away, I will eventually get to it, and I will do a video on it, or I'll do some kind of technique video or whatever it is over time. So if I haven't got to something that you've suggested, remind me, or just maybe wait another couple weeks and bam, it might be out, because I do plan on getting a little more active with some of these. So that's it. That'll be enough talk for me. And like I said, just Yeah, keep training hard. And if you have any questions, just reach out. Thanks.